So Chelsea nil, Wolves nil, and a well-earned point away at Stamford Bridge. And to be honest, I'll take that. I think today there was very much going to be an emphasis on getting back to what we know. I know a lot of people might not be pleased with the attacking side of it, but for me it was just about getting that defensive solidity again. We haven't kept a clean sheet in around 12 Premier League matches. I think the last one was Crystal Palace at home in the Premier League. So yeah, for us to get back to just getting a clean sheet again, I think was a positive. There are two sides to sort of look at this really, and I think that obviously the other side is that we really didn't offer much going forward. Having said that, we had probably some of the best chances of the game. We had three chances, obviously one in the first half falling to Dendoncker, and then the second one, Pedro Neto, so unlucky to hit the bar, and Dendoncker again. I'm in two minds to sort of start calling him Dendonky if he doesn't start converting more of these chances, because he does get a lot of those chances in and around the penalty area and he just doesn't have that final product. It's really frustrating. But I thought that on the whole we defended very, very well. I thought that we were very well regimented, and the team definitely looks so much more comfortable at the back, but we just lack that bit of creativity going forward. I thought Pedro Neto today was excellent. I thought that Nelson Semedo today was excellent, really good defensively. A couple of hiccups towards the end of the game, but I think there's some of the defenders themselves had hiccups towards the end of the game. I thought Kilman, Cody and Bolly were really, really good. Ait Nouri was alright, but I think we did look a bit more solid when Hoover came on. Midfield, yeah, decent again. I thought, but we were just quite limited. I think my only sort of qualm really is that if we sign Willian Jose to try and get goals again, my only worry is that he could become quite an isolated figure up front, because we saw today, even when he came on, that we were struggling to get the ball up to him. Now, guaranteed the context of the game means that, it was a different scenario. If we were to play a 4-2-3-1 again with him as the focal point, I think that maybe we could get more going. But I am a little bit worried that, we're not going to be able to provide him with any service for him to really be that much use. But I thought on the whole today, I think it's a pleasing result. Very solid defensively, no real issues with any sort of performances. It was just pretty much a 6 out of 10 from everyone. I thought Adama Traore is particularly hit and miss today. There was a few chances where he could have maybe passed off the ball better or took a shot and he didn't. Pedence as well, a bit of an off one, a bit of a quiet day for him, but it's really good to see him back after his injury. Him and Traore were good at winning free kicks. I thought the referee though was very sort of, excited or over-exuberant or overzealous in giving away free kicks and fouls. There was a few silly fouls in there that we didn't need to give away. Pedro Neto's yellow card was disappointing, but on the whole I thought that it was a well-earned point, a solid point, and I think a good foundation and a good basis to build forward. I think we just need to get a little bit more going on the counter-attacks and maybe not defend with such a low block. But I think, for now, I think it's a good result to just stop the rut in the Premier League and just sort of reset and get going again. So, yeah, I'll take it, but we've got to win. We've got to get a result against Palace, really.
What is the rage for? Football doesn't have to be pretty. We considered 3 against the worst team in the league, West Brom. No respect to West Brom. And we kept a clean sheet against a revamped Chelsea side. All those players out there wanted to impress the manager. Trust me, it was a good result, if you ask me. It was a great result. Now, one of the issues we were having in the past 12 games was our defensive organization, confidence, structure, shape. And then now we're having, we defended perfectly this match, if you ask me. To be fair, this is probably one of my best moments, Wolves moment this season. First things first, I feel Nelson Semedo should play the left back row till Johnny or Marcel comes. Nuri was poor today, really, really poor. Defensive awareness was so poor, it almost cost us. And big ups to Nuno for, figuring that out. Chelsea overloaded the right-hand flank because they knew that, that guy was our weak link. So they tried to overload the right-hand flank. So I feel Tuchel would do really, really good for them. On the bright side, our new striker, he played well. It was really, really decent for someone who hasn't trained with the squad. He tried to bring the wingers into play. And I feel, this week will be more of, training with him and, how the wingers work and how we could play with them. Connor, like I said last match, Connor is probably the best defender in a back 3 system. Quote me anyway, he's probably one of the best defenders in a back 3 system. In a back 4 system, is up there with the worst, if you're being honest. So I feel, we are playing to his strengths now. This playing 3 at the back against teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and the likes would always do us well. But playing three at the back against teams like Crystal Palace, West Brom won't really do us well. I feel you can't afford to bench any of Podence, Neto, or Adama against Crystal Palace alongside with our new striker. So 4-2-3-1 should still be an option. To be fair, I'm really, really, you know, I'm happy with this result. I don't get what the rage is. I'm glad with this result. We considered 3 against West Brom and we kept a clean sheet against this Chelsea side. 4 points against Chelsea. I'll take that any season. Big ups to Talking Wolves. Keep watching Talking Wolves and see you at Crystal Palace. Safe.
So the final score was Chelsea 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 in what was, let's be honest, a pretty solid point. If you stick about 10 men behind the ball at every single opportunity, then of course you're probably going to, have more chance of keeping a clean sheet. But that was dreadful, wasn't it? That was just absolutely shocking. The fact of first half we ended with 14% possession. I mean, there's many other teams in this league that are known for, their quote-unquote defensive football and solid mentality. But the difference is, I don't see those teams coming in at 14% possession. No matter what team you're up against, if you finish with that, then that's not good enough. Second half, Neto should have scored. But even then, the opportunity we had at the end from Leander Dendoncker, I mean, Dendonker's got to put that away. But again, we're talking about 2 opportunities in 90 minutes. In what was, let's not lie to ourselves, a not great performance. The mentality of try not to lose. It just seems though Nuno has lost the philosophy of make your ideas stronger than theirs. I really don't know what to say anymore. But the fact of I'm going to get called negative just due to the performance, that is not sustainable over the course of the rest of this season. If you play like that, you're going to lose more games than what you're going to get points, then especially even wins. The fact we're looking at more a clean sheet, which for me was a big thing. We did need a clean sheet on there as well. But it would be nice to actually attack once or twice. Very different circumstances and a very different situation. I have to stress. Newcastle United have pretty much played exactly the same football. Steve Bruce gets all of the abuse in the world. And in my opinion, that's quite rightly so. Nuno's playing that type of football. And he's done that for not just one game, but for multiple games. And it just seems though he isn't getting the criticism of Steve Bruce just because of what he's achieved in the past. And as far as I'm concerned, we're getting to that point now where it's a good point. But is a performance like that going to be sustainable for the rest of the season? By God, it's not. My God, it's not. And the way that, Podence went off frustrated, Neto pushing frustrated, the attacking players all frustrated. And I mean, William Jose came on, and if you look at some of his positions, especially when Chelsea had the ball, it was almost like he was playing as a midfielder. There's defensive, there's parking the bus, and we parked 7 lorries there. I mean, it's a good point, which I think is going to be the big thing. It is a big point for us. But is it going to change our season? No, it's not. There wasn't anything in that performance to me that suggested that's going to be our turning point in our season. If you look at the times in our season when we had turning points, the Chelsea game where we beat them 2-1. And then you look as well, Crystal Palace away where we got that last minute equaliser. That was a turning point in our season. This season, it doesn't look as if there's any turning point. If anyone's going to come out here and say that point is going to be a turning point in our season, then just what positives are we taking from there? If you're looking at it from just an individual pure performance point of view. But at the end of the day, it's a point. We came for a point, we set up for a point, and we got a point. Anyway, cheers for having me on Talking Wolves, and let's hopefully talk about some positive attacking football next time. And actually, going forward once or twice. Thank you very much.
Right, another boring game, but at least we didn't lose. Not really much to say about that game at all. We didn't really do anything. We were really, really passive out of possession. Let them have the ball. I thought Bolly and Kilman done really well, especially the first 10 minutes. I think Kilman made 3 tackles. I thought we played really well. That's all we done was defend. We had 2 chances when Neto went through on goal. Could have scored. I mean, it's really tight. And then Donk's chance at the end. How Hudson-Odoi made that space to catch him, I won't know. But yeah, I mean, we look really passive. I wanted to see more of William Jose. Exciting now that we've actually got a striker again, a proper striker. I was interested. Well, I didn't think he'd sub off Podence. I thought he'd sub off Neto, especially since he was in the book. Well, I guess Neto did offer more. He done a bit more running. Podence, it's nice to see him back. He does go down quite a lot, Podence, holding his legs and stuff. And I do get worried that he's probably injured, but it's probably still part of the game. Swindle the refs, get free kicks. But yeah, it's nice to see him back. I was happy to see Keanu Hover come on. I thought he'd done brilliantly defensively. Nouri was getting targeted. Like we saw, he wasn't brilliant against Chorley, and I know can't really compare it to Chorley and Premier League, two different games, but like he was getting gunned at, man. Like I think they targeted him. He looked weak. Wasn't great. He got forced out wide a lot and on his own, which is scary. But you know, we didn't concede. We come out of Chelsea with a point. Hopefully something to build on because we've got some tough games coming up. We've got Arsenal soon and then Southampton. So, you know, something to build on, get the boys' confidence back, and you know, hopefully we can start turning these draws and these boring goalless 90 minutes into some wins.
Oh, what is going on with my... I can't even grow a beard. 43, can't even grow a beard. Anyway, Chelsea and Wolves... To be fair, it was always going to be a tough game tonight because obviously these Chelsea players who haven't really been performing for Frank Lampard all of a sudden want to put in a performance for the new manager. But in all fairness, listen, we know it wasn't a great game. We know it wasn't, especially the first half wasn't great. I think there was a statistic that Chelsea had done 400 odd passes or something, which was a Premier League record. But it counts for nothing when obviously, you know, goals count, and look, it was 0-0 at half time, so that doesn't matter. But look, there's not a great deal to talk about. I wasn't completely enthralled by the performance. 0-0, that's the important thing. I think we've got a point at Chelsea, which we'd have probably took before the game, but it wasn't really that exciting. So keep tuning into the great work that Talking Wolves are doing. And over and out.
Wolves 0, Chelsea 0. I think we started off the game very sloppy, poorly, had no possession at all, no chances, 0 shots on target. They had 2, I think, or maybe 1. Again, either sides, it wasn't amazing first half. Bit like last game that we played, 0-0 at half time. I think Kilman, he was good. Had a few interceptions and clearances. I think Bolly was the same. A few, especially at the end with that chance they had from the corner. I think Nouri getting subbed off at half time was a good decision. I don't think he could have defended Hudson-Odoi much more. He had a very good game, Hudson-Odoi. I think it was a big game for Chelsea. Obviously, their first game with their new manager after Lampard being sacked. I think it was a good idea for Lampard to be sacked. I think he could have played till the end of the season, but yeah, I mean, very, very big decision for Chelsea, very big game, but I think good for both sides. I think the second half was good, very strong in defence. I think normally we come out this saying Cody can't defend. I think he proved himself a bit today. Definitely showed he can defend still. We're starting to put our bodies on the line, showing our passion. You know, I think Dendoncker put his body on the line just to save a goal. Patricio made an extraordinary save. It wasn't like the best, but it was a very good save. Adama wasn't the best, but to be fair, every time he had the ball and he ran, he'd just get fouled, which is just unfair, really. I think the new signing, Jose, was a bit unlucky. He didn't get much play time. I think it was good to take off Podence. Obviously, he's been injured for a while. Don't want to get him injured again because he kept falling over. Just unlucky. He had a couple touches. It wasn't the best. Jimenez and Johnny, good to see that they're back in training. Hopefully, you can see them in the next few games. I think we've got Crystal Palace next, which I think we can get a win on. Beat them the last 2 times we played them, and yeah, that's a clean sheet for the first time since October, which is very good. And yeah, that puts us in 13th for now. Come on, you Wolves.